Sadiq Suleiman Umar. I represent the good and decent people of Kwara North, and we all are. Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, I move for the preponderant need to engage local indigenous contractors for the execution of small-scale federal government contracts to stimulate grassroots economic development. The Senate notes that the Federal Republic of Nigeria is committed to fostering inclusive economic growth, reducing poverty, and creating sustainable development and employment opportunities for its teeming population. Also notes that small and medium-sized enterprises, SMEs, and local contractors represent the bedrock of the Nigerian economy, possessing vast potential for job creation, wealth distribution, and local capacity building, particularly at the grassroots level. Further notes that despite existing local content policies and initiatives, including the Renew Hope Infrastructure Development Fund by the current administration, numerous small-scale federal government contracts, particularly below 50 million naira, are often executed by larger non-indigenous firms, thereby limiting direct economic benefits to local communities and stifling the growth of nascent indigenous enterprises across the 774 local government areas.
Not make laws and bring up conditionalities that are repugnant to fairness, natural laws, justice, equity, and good conscience. Like Senator Ibisawa pointed out, somebody must start from somewhere. So if in just cleaning of road or bring up 3 years tax clearance, 3 years experience, what about the young child that just graduated from university and just registered a company just 1 year ago? That means he has to wait for 3 years, and within the 3 years, he cannot get a job. So where will he get the job to have the experience for 3 years and tax clearance for 3 years? So sometimes we take a step forward and then 2 steps backwards. So we must now begin to address issues that will protect our people, because we are not protecting Nigerians with the kind of laws that we are making, and most of the conditionalities that are being placed, not just by the Bureau of Public Procurement, but even the MDAs that are awarding jobs. And also we have forgotten that we have enough laws in Nigeria that if you have an international organization that comes to do a contract in Nigeria, like the hydro dams, or like the underground pipe jacking drainage system I mentioned, there should also be technology transfer. So they should employ local engineers in order to ensure technology transfer within 3 years. But most of the time, they bring in people from outside to the total exclusion of Nigerians. And Nigerians are left to just supply water or supply sand. They don't participate in the construction. So at the end, there is no technology transfer. And so we can't continue to do the same thing over and expect to have experience. So I think it's important for this 10th Senate to begin a holistic study of these things, and where we need to tinker with our acts, we do so, and to protect Nigerians. It's very important that our people should now begin to build local manpower. So, Senator Oshiomhole, there must be something you want to add from the labor angle, even though your khaki, like I pointed out in the morning, does not reflect the khaki of labor. This is a bourgeoisie khaki. This is a special linen material, so I don't understand whether it's still a comrade.
Thank you very much, sir. With your permission, and may harass me on account of my choice of dressing, because some people have insisted I must dress like them.
Your microphone. Your microphone, sir.
Is one senator who advised me that there is a plan to walk me out. And by the time they walk out Wadada for no wearing tie, that's why we see sometimes I'm wearing this umbrella. No, sorry, not umbrella. I'm wearing this South cap. Some other time, I'm now in search of identity. But talking seriously on this matter, I think we have to be completely holistic in reviewing the situation that we are in. And I'm very happy that, Mr. President, you are the one presiding, and you must have dealt with Kasina. Zango. No, but I want the full attention of Mr. President. Sir, I think you said it. My experience, and I'd like to share that, is that we also have to educate, persuade, and enlighten Nigeria businessmen and women, particularly the construction industry. Because what I found, and I'm now talking of my experience, we awarded a contract to a Nigerian contractor who seems to have all the equipment, so I thought. In the end, at least I had 3 terrible experiences in trying to be patriotic, not only to give contract to a Nigerian, but a Nigerian that has stake in my state. What did I find? I was forced to have to revoke that contract because of the poor quality of work. Mr. President, sir, if you go around Abuja, you will notice 2 categories of contractors. You will see a high-rise building, 2-story building, a story building, and they are using local bamboo to do scaffolding. Rather than invest over time to buy scaffolding, they go to the bush, they are felling trees to still use them the way it was being done during the era of Mongo Park. So the Nigerian contractors have to invest in equipment. They have to invest in training and retraining of Nigerian workers. Because nobody wants to throw money away in the name of patriotism to a contractor who in the end will give you a job that can't stand the test of time. This is the only country you build a road. 2-3 years later, it has potholes. Even though foreigners are also involved in this, because some of the supervisory agencies are not doing their job. So I don't want us to have a generalized commitment about, I think every case should be dealt with on case-by-case basis. Lastly, the issue of 3 years. We need to do thorough investigation. Nobody can ask me to bring my tax clearance before I was born. So if a company was registered in 2024 and it bids for contract in 2025, I do not see anyone asking such a new company to produce 3 years of taxes when it was not yet in existence. What they might do is to ask you to look at your members of staff, whether you have the right engineers, electrical, mechanical, and civil, to be able to handle the kind of job you are bidding for. I do not want us to deceive ourselves that we have people in the Bureau of Public Procurement that says, bid 3 years contract experience.
That's what is actually happening.
Then somebody is doing something wrong. If you ask me generally, even the Bureau of Public Enterprises, to be very honest with you, in my opinion, they are adding no value. They add no value. It is just another toll gate, another bottleneck that leads to all sorts of delays. What do they do differently? How can you have a bureau that is specialized in electronic? They are specialized in civil. They are specialized in mechanical. They are specialized in chemical. Where are the expertise in that bureau? I understand the intention, but in truth, it has led to endless delays. When I was governor, sir, I used to tell them, I am a contract worker because my time is limited. A job I want to do for 3 months is taking you 6 months to do the evaluation. In the end, contracts are still inflated when these agencies choose to oblige. So I think it's something that we need, even if it's a small committee, to interface with them so we understand really what is going on. I am worried about a general policy of give all contract to the native or give all contract to foreigners. I think everything should be based on case-by-case basis, depending on the kind of job and the kind of contractor that is bidding for the job. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. I think at this stage,
and representing Bauchi Central, Bauchi State. Mr. President, yesterday I had a very long time in trying to understand this motion, but today I read for the second time, and I now understand it is just like the local content bill that relates to oil-producing issues, oil-producing communities, to the BPE. Mr. President, I have not seen any Nigerian that undertakes contract in the United States or America or Germany. But here, because of the high requirements actually extended by BPE to all the contractors without reservations, it becomes very problematic. Even as simple as small contract of dredging a road, of doing a rural road, curtail some of our people in the possibility of not undertaking. They have the money, but because of the excessive requirements that the BP puts across, they are
your mic.
the BPE as a government agency to say, see, we have passed this BPE Act, and we have seen how it works. For over a decade or so, these are some of the loopholes we have discovered. And in discovering these loopholes, the Parliament and the Senate in particular, as a People's Parliament, recognizes the fact that people are sidelined. Our people do not have the wherewithal all the time to be able to do the job. So we have to reflect that as an answer to some of the weaknesses we have seen in the bill. Even though we can correct it later, but this is just about calling the attention of the BP to say, please, while you are doing this thing, look at what you have discovered over time. So I think this particular motion is timely, is welcome. This is people's motion. This is local people's motion. For some of us who are local contractors, before coming to the National Assembly, this is a very good feeling. And I look back, and I've led people who are unable to meet up because they don't have these requirements. Even while I was outside there, it took time for me to also meet the requirements of the BPE. But I'm certainly sure if the BPE listens to the Senate, particularly on this bill, once transmitted through the Committee on the Legislative Compliance, I'm sure a lot of goodies will come for Nigerians. And once Nigerians are able to do these local jobs, it will be good for the economy and it will be good for our developmental purposes. Mr. President, I thank you as always for calling me to contribute.
Mr. Senate President, my name is Jimo Ibrahim from Ondo South. Mr. Senate President, our laws must reflect our values. When the colonial master came, and that was the information I wanted to supply to you, Mr. Senate President, at the chambers, they said any act of ours that's inconsistent with their custom is repugnant to natural justice, equity, and good conscience. In this matter, there is no covering the field issue. The law must be holistic. We must come up with developments, just like you gave us the case in Akwa Ibom. We must go back and look at that one as a case study to ensure that governors comply with domestic participation and encouragement of our entrepreneurs. There is no way we can grow as a nation if we allow, after independence, post-colonization of our economy and praxis. It's unacceptable. So to me, I believe that we must go back to what the original thesis and use Akwa Ibom as a case study during your time and allow the governors to ensure that our laws reflect our value, but we must start the foundation from here. The law must be there to provide the premise upon which you can base so many things. And there's not any law here, Mr. Senate President, that covers the field. We need to be concerned about the issue of covering the fields in our legislation. There's a lacuna here. And Lord Denny said, where we find lacuna in our laws, we must strive very quickly to create one and ensure that those lacunas are filled. So this lacuna, we can't carry it over in your own presidency at the 10th Senate to the 11th Senate. Now we must act. When issues like this, we must discuss them. When issues like this, fundamentally, we must distill them to value creation. When issues like this, poverty issue should be eradicated completely. And the only way we can do this one is to ensure that we have a general law that covers the entire field in the award of contracts. I want to thank you very much for giving me this short time to give this very important information. We cannot continue to be declaring our own contractual law as repugnant to our own value and culture. Rather, it is the Onyibo laws that are inconsistent, that are repugnant to natural justice of our economic growth, of our social development, of our native advancement, and we must say no. Thank you, sir.